We're this close to crowning an NBA champ. And with the action heating up on the court is even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered every step of the way with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down.
It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. The Mavericks are plus 170 underdogs heading into the finals, which is pretty interesting, especially when they have the best player in the series. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Welcome to Jenkins and Jones on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Thursday, June 6th, and that was an NBA basketball finals game.
Allegedly.
We're breaking down all the exciting action live on Jenkins and Jones. Thanks for hanging out with us on YouTube in the chat. With chat, we're gonna need you tonight. We're gonna need the chat tonight. I could just tell. As always, Jenkins and Jones hosted by Dragonfly Jones, aka Tyler.
Hey everybody, have a good.
LaJethro Jenkins, aka John.
What's that, Bubbas?
And I am Guardy B, aka Mike.
Motherfucking
Mike.
Jackson Saffon is he had to work tonight, so he can't hang out with his friends.
He's with his other family. Just like Christmas.
Man, you don't fuck with us no more. You don't.
Jackson was in the was in the group chat, really enjoying most of that game. I want to come on here and try and poke holes in the Celtics, but I feel like that game is what worries you. If Luka and Kyrie don't play at the top level, the Celtics can afford for Tatum to not play at his top level. The Mavs can't afford for one of their two guys to have a B night, a C night, or something like that. So I don't know. What were y'all takeaways from the game?
For one, Chris Stapp's fucking Porzingis, like, geez, Louise, like what a first half he had. But I think if you're a Celtics fan, of course, you had the little scare in the third quarter, but I think you're feeling really confident about this series after this game, because the way that the Celtics just ran Dallas out the gym, it was just playing basketball one-on-one, right? Like great execution and exploit your mismatches, right? Just nothing fancy schmancy, just got out there and executed well. Like I said, exploited the mismatches, and they took away the corner threes. They took away the lobs from Dallas, because when you've got like we said, Boston's going to pose a unique problem to Dallas, because these are guys who can switch everything, right? Like it's not like Minnesota where you get Rudy out there on the island and your eyes get big, right? Like this isn't that. So yeah, if you're a Celtics fan, I think you're pretty confident with how this series is probably going to go, because what you saw tonight was impressive. And like I said, it wasn't just the 3-point discrepancy, like that's an anomaly. Boston outscored them by 30 points from beyond three. And that's probably not going to happen again. But everything else we saw tonight from Boston is super sustainable. It's not some outlier shit.
Also, it didn't feel like, hey, just shoot threes offense. Like the sets they had, you know what I'm saying? Chef's kiss. I was like, oh, wow. This looks good. Like inside, outside, mid-range, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They played to their benefit. You know what I'm saying? Using the mismatches they had. I mean, it was a great game. Also, like, the fact that they got it to 8 and it just seemed Boston just simply pressed on the pedal again. Like it's like, they chill out. You think they're gonna, it didn't feel like, hey, we're going to do dumb shit and lose this game. It felt like we're just chilling because they can't fuck with us. Oh, they got it close. That's cute. Let's get it to 20. Let's get it from 8 to 20 points in a minute and a half. Like, that's nasty, bro. You feel me? Like, they're playing their ass off, and it seems like Boston's halfway playing, So, I mean, the 3-point anomaly is, them shooting that badly and the Celtics shooting that well probably won't happen again, but I don't know. And also, like, talking about Kyrie, like, he's human, bro. It's just hard getting booed by an entire arena. It's unsettling. he seemed like he was pressing. He didn't seem comfortable. Like it's a very normal human reaction, and I mean, even for a psychopath, I mean, offensively, he's a psychopath, but it's still hard to get to that Zen space he needs to get to when like tens of thousands of people are booing the shit out of you. So yeah, bro, like we'll see how he adjusts. I think he will adjust. I think this is a game where like, okay, now I understand how it's going to feel in here. Now I know what to expect. I don't think it'll be as bad as it was today, but even with them playing good, I don't know how good this series will be. That the Celtics just seem better. But we'll find out.
Yeah. What questions are not answered for you at this point? I mean, I think number one is Tatum. Is this going to be a repeated pattern for Tatum, or is he going to settle in? Kyrie, what's Kyrie going to look like going forward? I don't think he's going to have a game like that multiple games in a row. What else? Like, what else do you feel like because I feel like we saw what we expected to see from the role players, and the Mavericks did not look like they matched up well. What are you still curious about for game two? What do you think could surprise you or jump up that you're not expecting after game one?
This was the only game this season that Luka had less than 3 assists. And I don't know if that's going to happen again, but like we said, they took away the corner three, they took away the lobs, they took away the driving kicks, they took away the pick and roll lobs, which is just like, when once you take that away from Dallas, you realize, holy shit, Luka and Kyrie are the only dudes on the floor who can get their own shot, right? Like I mean, of course you kind of know that, but it really sinks in then, right? But yeah, Luka just having 3 assists, that's not going to get it done. He's got it. Granted, everyone was cold as hell on his team tonight. Like, Luka gunning was the best thing for them tonight, but they just got to counter what Boston has done. Like I said, with taking away that corner three in the lob.
I just think their role players probably don't have it in a final series, bro. I mean, they were cold, but also I think we're seeing the difference in the quality of role player. Like Derek White's the 5th best player on the Celtics. Derek White, who can drop 37. You know what I'm saying? Who could like we wouldn't be shocked if he had a 35-point game. It wouldn't be shocker at all. You feel me? Like, who else would we think have like a high scoring game on the on the Mavs?
They need a lively.
Like, oh shit!
They need a lively to have the game KP had. You know what I mean? For you to be like, oh shit,
and you're asking way too much for like
Boston.
You know what I mean?
That's not gonna happen. Like late in that third, Al Horford decided it was Al Horford time and had some big buckets to stave them off.
And he has those moments.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what Al Horford
has. Those moments. That's what he does.
He'll only get you 4 buckets a game, but they'll be so fucking big. Like that's who he is at this stage in his career.
Right.
I'm hurt by like what we really didn't need. And I'm not even saying this as a Celtics hater. As basketball fans who I don't really think it's been that good of a playoffs. It's been like there's been like 1 or 2 good series. So you want a good finals, and we really needed Kristaps to not come out of the cask of vampire blood that he's been recuperating in and look like he was that fucking good. Like we did not need that as basketball fans. I know Celtics fans are enjoying it. Jackson was just a shit-eating little motherfucker in the fucking group chat. But we didn't need that. That really surprised me that he came out and looked that good. That's a tough injury to come back from. And he did everything. He was great protecting the rim. He had a couple of really nice blocks. And he was fucking knocking down threes, man.
He's like the only player I've ever seen in my life who comes back better from injuries. Like, how the fuck does that happen, right? He lost a step or so, after his injury history, and then he turned into this defensive presence. Had 3 blocks in the first quarter. Like, KP is just an anomaly, bro.
I mean, also I think you spoke to this, Tyler. Like when they would switch and KP's on an island with Luka, cool. You know what I mean? JB was giving Luka fits. We talked about like Luka played a solid game, but then JB have like 2 or 3 just picking pockets at the middle court. You know what I'm saying? Easy dunks, blocking dunks and shit. Like, bro, it felt a particular type of bullying where we're just playing with our food. That 8-point was like we're just gonna play a little bit, make it interesting. We don't, conserve ourselves, run it up real quick. I like the playoffs. I don't know if this series will be fun for us. And I mean, particularly for me, if Tatum keeps playing this way, and so does Kyrie. Like, this is the worst case scenario. We talked about this before the pod. It was the worst case scenario for me. I didn't enjoy this at all. You know what I mean? Seeing Kyrie struggle, Tatum just look. And I want to point this out. I talked to this to Mike about. I don't know, Tyler, if you notice this, but did it not see like they asked Tatum to do the interview at the end of the game, even though he had a bad game?
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked.
I'm shocked at that too. Yeah. I'm shocked at that. But he's the guy, so like, cool. Like they can force that. They can. I can see why they would do it. You know what I mean? I just don't think the team feels the way about Tatum that normal teams feel about the person that's supposed to be leading them. There was many times it looked like they didn't give a fuck about getting Tatum involved. Where like, or when Tatum was open, had mismatch. There was a moment where I saw Tatum butt naked in the middle of the paint with Kyrie on his back, like pinned under the rim. And they just, nobody thinks about giving the ball. I think KP took a nasty 12-footer that never had a chance on the run rather than give Tatum the ball to get an easy finish. Like, I just feel like he doesn't press and they're not pressed to give him the rock. The dynamic on the team is pretty interesting. I don't think that'll affect him in the finals. I wonder how that plays out in the future, though.
Yeah.
Am I tripping? No, did it not feel that way? They do have 36 twice, 2 36-point games last series. Like a 28-point and a 24-point, something like that.
Talked about it. I mean, he's leaving him in later to try and get. I mean, it's like he's missing layups. He was like Doris Burke, almost as a parody of herself, is praising his patience as he like refuses to look at the rim.
To make it, yeah.
But I have a Tatum analogy for y'all as people who all three of us were watching football at this time. Tell me if you agree with it or not, because I think it acknowledges that he's a great player, while also acknowledging that there's different types of great players. He reminds me of Peyton Manning before Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. When they built that first team that Peyton won a Super Bowl with, they stopped assuming they were still going to score 48 points a game in the playoffs. They built a defensive team that could run the ball where he could make them some plays, but it was not all on his shoulders. And I feel very similarly, that Celtics team didn't look bothered at all by Jayson Tatum having a 16-point game tonight. It felt to me like they were going, hey, we got depth, we got defense, we got shooting, we got role players, we got rim protection. You do you. You give us 40 points. You're going to get 36 to 40 one or two of these games at least. But the other games, we're not tripping off it. We're not sitting here going, oh, Tatum's not coming through. Like, it feels to me like they prepared for to win a game the way that they won the game tonight. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, if you're a Celtics fan, the fact that Tatum was like the fourth best Celtic tonight and they still won by 20, like that is just like I know you know you're patting yourself on the back right now. Like, we got this. You know, the whole squad isn't on Tatum's shoulders like we've seen in years past. So yeah, you know, like I said, it is interesting. I feel like, you know, there's a big Tatum agenda, you know, where we're gonna discuss legacies and whatnot after this finals. But as far as the Celtics team chemistry goes, like, he doesn't need to be that guy, like you said. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like, show up if you want to. We're cool if you don't, though. You know,
and
he
did do a lot of. He did do a lot of things. Like, I know you want a guy like that to not just do the little things, but he did help with offensive rebounding, right? He did.
He also had like 7 or 8 turnovers or something.
He did. Well, and a lot of it was, I thought, kind of forcing a driving kick, right? I mean, he had 3 where he just kind of threw the ball out of bounds, but he did do some things that affected winning. The offensive rebounds early as they built that lead were a big part of that for sure. But
yeah, big assists.
So I don't know. But you can't really criticize it too much when the team still is up by 20 points for 80% of the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because he was clearly doing enough. It's, you know, he's playing defense. He's a big body on defense. Like, I don't know. I've sort of like run out of ways to throw rocks at the Celtics. It's just like, it feels like it's going to be like they're going to win in 5, and it's going to be like, well, they didn't win that impressively. It's like, oh, they had a dipshit couple minutes each game. It's like, it didn't, but they still won the game by 20 points. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't have anything else. Chat, is there anything in the chat to help us? Chris, do we have anyone in the chat that can give us reason to have some optimism for the fucking Mavs, bro?
the Celtics are so unique because they are looking like an all-time dominant postseason team, and they just look so beatable every game too. Like I've never seen anything quite like it. I can't explain it.
Do you think like it's just the matchup favors the Celtics? Because I mean, do they do the same thing to the Nuggets? Do they do the same thing to the to the Wolves, or are they just really this much better than the rest of the league?
I think they are.
Because
I think they are. I don't think they do the same thing to the Nuggets last year, but we saw this year the Nuggets have depth issues.
It's not the same.
We saw with the Timberwolves. You think the Timberwolves were going to go in and look more like lion-hearted in Boston than the Mavericks did? Like I don't know. I just think they do some goofy shit that makes it easy to throw mud at them. But the Celtics just are clearly they're the most efficient offense like ever in the regular season. I think they set the NBA record for blowout wins this year. They're just the best team in the league. And so like we said it coming into the game, you're going to need a game from Luka and Kyrie to knock them off their pivot. But even if Kyrie, they did have the bad stretch, but if Kristaps is going to roll in and give them 20 points and erase 3 shots, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's not.
And he had a heater, but like the end stats are Kristaps stats. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on a heater at the first quarter, but at the end of the game, it wasn't like, wow, he did something we can't see again next game. You know what I mean? Like his numbers were extremely repeatable. He just had a hell of a first quarter. You know what I mean? But gee, like I don't know how I could lie to myself to think this is going to be an enjoyable series for me. I wanted something. You know what I'm saying? I wanted something. When it got to 8, I'm like, oh, we're going to have some fun tonight on the timeline. You know what I mean? Tyler's going to be on a heater on the pod. You feel me? Like, it's just like, and it didn't even seem like they, with like them, it kind of like, when they hit the gas in the end of the third quarter, it didn't seem like it was like they really sweat. It was like, it's like a Porsche versus a Honda, bro. You don't got to hit it that hard to run it up on their ass. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to call the Mavericks a Honda. You know what I mean? But it kind of felt like that, G. And Hondas are great cars.
I have 2 Hondas in the driveway right now.
What are we talking about? Hondas are incredible cars.
Very
reliable.
What
I mean? Very durable, very reliable. You know what I mean? Fun, nice looking.
Yeah. All right. Jackson wouldn't even let me have fun in the group chat, bro.
You were having a weird time, I was like, bro, you down bad over there, man. Dude was reached into his pocket like it wasn't even these pockets, nigga. It wasn't even these pockets. This nigga was in the cargo pockets reaching for shit to say about these niggas, dog. He unzipped the 7th pocket. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro.
Jackson told me I'm not allowed to make the jokes I was making in the group chat on the podcast, so we can't even.
We aren't going to say what type of jokes they were either. We're going to move on, brother.
Here's what we can hang on to. I know it hurt Jackson when he was celebrating a play and they cut to Mark Wahlberg celebrating a play. That's all I have to enjoy from. That's literally the only thing from game 1 I liked was I know Jackson felt like shit when he was celebrating and they showed Marky Mark jumping around.
Also, the boos on Kyrie, that felt like some 1950s hate. You know what I mean?
I felt like it wasn't as loud as I thought it would be.
Oh, when he got the ball at first, ooh, Kyrie
it didn't activate the subwoofer, bro.
I don't know. I heard a hard R. It was a sundown town fucking.
You heard a hard R and some boos.
I felt like, yeah,
we're booing with
like,
a hard R.
Nigga, nigga, I heard it, bro. I don't know, nigga. It felt. I felt it in my bones, bro. It felt like, hey, I remember playing the city. I told you about when I played. There's a city called it's in Chilton County. It's called Coleman in Alabama, and there was no black people in the entire city. You know what I mean? And the coach told us, hey, after the game, get in the bus, and hey, no, when there ain't no sitting around, none of that shit. We got our shit, got in the bus, and left immediately after when I was with high school in Alabama or whatever. And it had that same energy, nigga. My spidey senses were tingling like maybe I shouldn't stop at a gas station here type vibes. That's what it felt, It felt like. So I don't know. Like you said, brr, nigga, brr.
I was gonna start this off if it hadn't have been such a devastatingly lopsided Celtics win. I was gonna start off with the Lakers stuff just as a joke. Like, here we are to talk about the only thing in the NBA that matters right now. I didn't even have the fucking spirit for it. But let's turn to the big news, obviously. Shocking news. I think this was for the East Coast boys only. Woj tweeting at 4:00 West Coast time, 4:00 Los Angeles Lakers time, that Shams was out of his fucking mind is basically what he was tweeting. he kind of felt like he was rubbing it in with Shams when he said that the Lakers have Dan Hurley as the front runner. I think he followed it up to say he's always been the front runner with the Lakers, going hard after the UConn coach. As Braun fans and Lakers fans, we are like a amalgamation of those things. Gentlemen, what was your reaction to that news, and how are you feeling right now?
Well, shit, I was up. I was awake in real time when that shit dropped, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and I had the question, like, okay, so we all know, right? Like Shams, he's the agent guy, right? And Woj is the suits guy. He's the guy who's plugged in with the front offices. And it just made me wonder what the hell went on during the JJ negotiations to where Woj got word from the front office at 4 a.m. that Hurley was the guy. You know what I mean? Like, that is what I want to know.
That's your interpretation of the series of events.
That's what I'm look, Shams wouldn't put his name on it if it wasn't legit, right? And we saw that clip where JJ was like, I'm gonna address Shams at the end of the finals, which is like, that shit was ominous as fuck. Like, what is going on here?
Bro. You got me nervous, nigga. You know right? What I mean?
Like, I don't
I'm
know.
Sue him for defamation.
Yeah.
He didn't even look at the camera. He was so mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It didn't feel like, the read I got on JJ saying it wasn't like he lied on me. It was like he violated something he was supposed to tell the public, right?
Yes,
like that's the read I got on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I definitely think JJ was perhaps the lead candidate, and some shit went on in those negotiations where they're like, no, Hurley's the guy now. I'm way more interested in the backstory of all of this, of Woj versus Shams or Shams versus JJ, than I actually am with the actual coaching hire. You know what I mean? All this behind the scenes shit. That's the shit I really want to know about, bro.
I wonder how it. Yeah, me too. I'm really wondering like how it went, because like you said, I think Shams was right in the moment. You know what I mean? I don't think Shams would say that, understanding how important it is to be, correct and to like have like solid information before putting out in public. So like I think he had good information. I'm wondering what happened. Did they tie Lou this shit again? Did they offer JJ like, yo, bro, we don't truly have a lot of confidence in you? They offer you the 3-year joint. Like,
they were tweeting about his staff.
I'm wondering, like,
they were like, here's the 4 assistant coaches that are going to be around JJ Redick.
That's the thing. Like, bro, that's a lot of making up. If you made, I don't think he made it up, but I think that's a lot of making up from anybody who he would get the information from. I think there was probably some real shit around that. I wonder what changed it. And
I have a different view. I have a different view. I think Tyler is exactly right on the breakdown of who those guys' sources usually dovetail with. I think it's very possible that Braun and Clutch and whoever else were pro JJ as the Lakers head coach, that there was enough. Yeah, we're looking at him to kind of turn into something that felt more solid. But I think it's very possible that the Lakers have wanted Dan Hurley, in the actual Lakers have wanted Dan Hurley, and that they just actually kept it close enough to the vest that we didn't hear about it until the day that they're flying the guy out, basically. That it's just, that they were making sure they were not going to be embarrassed as the Lakers. That would explain why they were playing it so close to the vest. They were not going to be embarrassed with pursuing a college coach who turned them down. That's for the Knicks and shit, not for the Lakers, right? So they're waiting on that. Then once it was like, okay, hey, yeah, we're just talking money, then that's where that news starts getting out from the Lakers. But I think that's very possible that JJ was a very serious candidate. And then as it became clear that they were going to really get their guy, that's what's happening. So it's a bad look for.
I mean, I think that's what we're all saying, though, right? I think that's what we're all saying is that it was these things.
No, well, but I think it sounded to
me
like you guys were saying more like they might have fumbled it with JJ or something, which I don't think. I mean, I think I very much believe that Dan Hurley, with all due respect to JJ Redick, because I had literally just finished talking myself into it when Jackson sent us that fucking Woj tweet. If you're looking at the two candidates, like, sure. I mean, couple, like, you know what I mean?
One has won championships with the team, coaching the team. I mean, NBA and college is very different.
But Dan, Dan Hurley's one of those guys. Yeah. He's on JJ's podcast doing all the cutesy I'm a basketball genius shit that we loved seeing from JJ Redick. And he's a role player developer and defensive identity. Like he is, as a Lakers fan, he's a lot of this stuff you feel like the franchise has been missing. He's right, like a leader, someone who is going to get the most out of a Rui or a Reeves, or like you have confidence in that. And then the final piece is, can you manage an 82-game season with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the star power of Los Angeles and the pressure of Los Angeles? That's a bigger question to me. But as fans, first of all, actually, one more question. Do you think this changes the likelihood that LeBron James is back next year?
I don't think Bron's going anywhere. I think he probably, was throwing his weight around like, if you don't give me my guy, I'm going to explore free agency. But I don't think Bron's going anywhere, dog.
I agree.
I don't think it either, man. I feel like, I feel like this is where he retired. He moved here for reasons that, he won a championship here, but I think the reasons he moved here were not basketball reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I think those reasons are still here in LA. You can't find them anywhere else. So I don't see.
So there's the clip that went viral of like during a win for UConn.
Not solely basketball reasons. I'll say that, not solely.
There's a clip that went viral again today of Dan Hurley yelling, during a game, during a timeout. Some of the players are sort of scattered around, and he's yelling, "Fill in my fucking huddle." Do you think that energy, do you think that personality, do you think that can coexist with NBA superstars? Does Bron have it in him to make room for a big ego, big voice? Like they're comparing him to Phil Jackson, which is someone specifically that LeBron James has wanted nothing to do with. Do you think there's room for those types of personalities on the bench in LA?
That's always the adjustment that college coaches have to make, right? Like you're not dealing with 19-year-olds anymore. These are, grown ass 30-year-old billionaires, right? Where your job security is totally, hinging on your relationships with them. Hurley is a bit of a hothead, as all Hurleys are, right? Like that's a family tradition with them. But I think he's got to know you can't pull that, busting ball shit in the NBA. He's got to be smarter than that. I think he probably will change his approach a bit, but I don't know. It's just intriguing. Like, granted, Hurley's not an NBA coach, but this is a dude who's been coaching for basically his whole life, just about. Like, right, like he's the son of Bob Hurley Sr., the coach at St. Anthony's High School in New Jersey. So a coach's kid who's been coaching for like 25 years, won national championships in college. I think that he is qualified, but like you mentioned, it's the whole chemistry thing. That's where the questions arise.
I mean, we've seen like Coach K, right? He's a very different coach at Duke than he was when he was coaching the USA teams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to look at LeBron James and feel comfortable saying, "Fill in my fucking huddle." Like, who the fuck, nigga? I don't know if he looks at any NBA player and feels comfortable saying that. These are grown men. There's no question. The energy is totally different. The interactions are totally different. These are kids in college. You're going to move a particular way. I think he'll still bring the same energy. I think the way he communicates will be very different because you naturally communicate differently when you're dealing with grown men compared to kids. You know what I mean? So, I don't think he'll move in that way. I do still think I wonder if it's a question if the way he communicates will be effective with NBA players. I mean, that's every college coach's question. But I mean, when I look at his CV and I look at, JJ's, what is there really to talk about?
I had talked myself into JJ though.
I mean, you have to. I mean, you think you had to. You're in a situation where like, are you gonna like? You talked yourself into Westbrook too. You know what I mean? You had to. You know what I mean? You kind of got to. Going into the season, at least, you might hate it in month 3. Come December, Christmas game, and they're down 20, and it's like, what the fuck? But like going into the season, you got to kind of lie to yourself a little bit.
I wish we
might be lying now.
I wish we had a coach with the killer instinct and edge of Joey Mozzarella, man. I mean, I just like, well, I can't even make fun of the dude anymore, bro.
Dude was out there scheming tonight. Hell of a game,
bro. Those sets, I was like, yo, like, and we talk about the Celtics set, like, it's just shoot threes and we'll see what happens. And it was just, it seemed like they were scoring on all 3 levels. You know what I mean? That, and also defensively, just, I don't know, it's beautiful. Both ends of the court. He had everybody fucking locked in too. So, I mean, other than Tatum, Jesus Christ, man, come on. Do it for the crib, nigga. But
I feel like them offering him up for that interview was like a signal, like, we will give this man Finals MVP. Like we don't give a fuck what narrative we need to come up with. Like, he will be the Finals MVP. He could turn the ball over 70 times. He could get 16 points on 16 shots. We are going to interview him after the game, and he's going to hold that fucking trophy and look cute for the camera. God damn it.
I don't know, man. They gave Jaylen Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I don't know.
Yeah, and Tatum had a good series.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they gave him that
series. It would have been easy. It would have been easy to give it to Tatum, even though Jaylen had the bigger moments.
I feel like they gave him that to ease it when
Tatum
gets it no matter what.
When we bring your ass over in
the red hair
finals,
we're throwing him off the set.
Crazy. What is red herring? What are you talking about? I'm interested.
When bloodhounds used to chase people, lore has it that fugitives on the run would just drop like a piece of fish to throw them off, because once they smell that, it would like fuck their nasal up where they couldn't smell the original smell they were smelling. So
functionally,
so just something to throw something putting something down to throw people off your trail. That's where that shit.
Yeah, for
sure.
But
like when you hear people reference, I didn't even know that was the origin of it, Tyler. That's fucking Tyler. When you hear people reference it, it's like if you're watching a movie that's a mystery and they put something in there like his dad was a serial killer. It's like, oh, okay, there's a red. They're just trying to throw you off the set, like you were saying.
Right. There was a character on Scooby-Doo who always was wrong about his predictions on what, and his name was Red, last name Harry.
Yeah. It's all in Scooby-Doo, you know.
It always comes back to Scoob.
That whole English literature degree I spent 4 years getting, the most valuable degree you could get, English literature. I could have just been watching Scooby-Doo. You guys have anything else you want to talk about, or we just get the fuck out of here and lick our wounds and prepare for Sunday?
I just hope it's not fun when the Celtics win, man. We need them to lose. We need them to blow leads. We need the jokes, bro.
Even if they win, like just them pummeling a team, it's just like you said, Mark Wahlberg fucking girl. You know what I mean? There's people that win. We aren't those people in those situations. You know what I mean?
God, and it was fucking D-Day anniversary today too, bro. Mark Wahlberg was probably just like fucking, the endorphins were coursing like venom through Bane's fucking brain, bro. He was winning World War II by himself in his imagination, courtside of a 20-point Celtics finals win, bro.
Oh man.
Fuck me. All right. We'll see everyone on Sunday. Hope the rest of everyone's week goes better than tonight. It's going to be a better series. I'm going to choose to have confidence that game 2 is going to be better. You
got to manifest that. Claim it. Yes. Claim it, guys.
One way or another, we will be back on Sunday night, live, youtube.com/@JenkinsandJones. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.